Tonight, Sophie's drawing inspiration from a family Christmas spent in Morocco. She's making a traditional pie using pheasant called Pastilla. Couscous royale served with merguez sausages and harissa. Then for dessert, sweet aromatic oranges with pistachio and honey.
This is my alternative Christmastide feast. Now, I have to say, I'm a great traditionalist. I like a proper Christmas dinner on Christmas Day. But at other times during the festive season, I like to bring the changes. And I'm going to start off with one of my favourite Moroccan dishes. It's a Pastilla, which is a kind of pastry. And it's very crisp on the outside. And the filling inside is traditionally made with pigeon. But I'm swapping the pigeons for pheasant. And here they are. I've got two gorgeous pheasant. And the beginning of this is very simple. The pheasants just go like that, straight into your pan. And then I'm going to add a kilo of onions. It seems like quite a lot, but it'll mush down really, really well. But in they go. Then we've got some sugar, just ordinary caster sugar. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of ground cinnamon. You need about 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. 1 and 2, that'll do nicely. Some saffron, just coming in there. Beautiful deep red saffron threads. Again, how much you put in is a matter of taste. It's a big pinch, I think. But if you're not sure, you can go for a small lot. Next, just unsalted butter. And these two bundles, small bundles like this, one of parsley, one of coriander. And with that all stuffed in, all I need is some salt and pepper. That's lovely. And then I'm going to add some water, just a nice big slurp, about 300 millilitres. Now this is effectively a pot roast. So that means I'm just going to put it on the heat. So that needs to be left to simmer away gently for around an hour, maybe a little bit more. So then you hoik those pheasants out. I've got one of them here from a previous batch, and pull the meat off. And meanwhile, you leave the onions and all the other goo to boil down and concentrate. This recipe is something that I've eaten in Morocco a few times, and last year I took my 2 children to Morocco for Christmas, and on Christmas Day we did indeed eat pastilla. It was so lovely. That's why I like to cook Moroccan food around Christmas now. Just a nice memory. Now that's that done. Let's just clear that away. And I've got one more task to do before I go back to my reducing onions. I need to beat up some eggs. Here are my eggs. And these eggs are going to thicken my onion mixture. My sweet spiced onion mixture. Give them a quick whisk just to break up the yolks. Lovely. So, eggs are coming up here into the pan with the onions, and the liquid from cooking the pheasant is reduced down so the flavour is really intense. And this recipe, I'm not quite sure how old it is, but it is a real traditional classic Moroccan dish. I have to say, at this particular juncture, it does not look that appetising. It kind of looks, oh, I don't know, an odd sludge. Look at that. But never fear, you just have to carry on regardless. So here is that pheasant, all torn up into bits. Well, actually 2 pheasants, of course. And I'm also adding 200 grams of chopped almonds. You can use flaked almonds if you prefer. Chopped flake, it'll do either way. And you just mix it all in. So that is the stuffing done and dusted, except for one thing. It needs to cool down. You just can't use a hot stuffing. So what I think I'm going to do is scrape it into a bowl and leave it to cool down. It'll be a little bit quicker that way. The filling has cooled down to room temperature, which is great. Just what I want. And I've already started lining my tin. And I've got this pastry, which is brick pastry, or warka, if you want to be a little bit more technical, a little bit more Moroccan. I think brick is the Tunisian name. And I'm going to show it to you. It's like phyllo pastry, only less temperamental. which is something I always appreciate. So here it is, and you can see the warka pastry. I don't know if you can see that, is slightly lacy. It's got little bubbles in it, and that's because this is already being cooked on top of a hot plate, one by one. So what have I done here? Well, I've already layered up several sheets of brick pastry, and you need to get the layers at least 3 thick, and you brush each time with butter, which reminds me, I'm just going to grab the rest of the butter. Melted butter, essential for this. Now, what I like about warka is it doesn't dry out as quickly as phyllo, so you've got a bit more time on your side. But if you can't get warka or brick pastry, then phyllo pastry works very nicely. I think you need around 200 grams for the whole pastilla. Let's smooth that down. Perfect. And then, well, this is very simple actually. You just flip over your warka pastry. All the bits are sitting out of the pan like that. And there we go, there's that. Let me butter this sheet. Let's just brush this all over with butter. Excellent. And now I'm going to put a little bit of egg on top of this. Now this actually works as a sort of a glue to hold it all in place. So I've got another beaten egg. Really go for it on the top. I just love Middle Eastern, North African food. And another one of my favourites that I've had a few times since I've been there is the gorgeous, gorgeous cabbage salad they do there. And, you know, it sounds really ordinary. It is basically just white cabbage with quite a lot of lemon juice, a lot less oil, and lots of chopped parsley. It's lovely at Christmas because it's very fresh and you can keep the cabbage for, you know, weeks and weeks. So I'm just going to put a little bit more butter on top. You don't need much, but just a little bit. So now this goes into the oven and I'm going to cook it at about 190 degrees centigrade for 30 to 35 minutes until it's nicely browned on that side. And then I'm going to be very clever, turn it out onto the baking sheet and bake it for another 20 minutes until it's beautifully browned. And after all that, this is how it turns out. Looks nice, but it's not finished yet. Oh, no, 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 no. What comes now? Well, here's a serving plate. I'm ready for it. This bit of paper is very important, and you're going to see in a moment how it is. And I've got that, and I just need a small sieve. Not the world's most beautiful sieve. It's my old tea strainer, actually. But here we are, and I'm going to dust this with icing sugar. You only do this just before serving, because if you do it too far in advance, the icing sugar just all melts into it and you can't see it, and then you have the awful choice about whether to add more icing sugar, which would make it too sweet, or whether to forgo the beauty of your creation. I think this combination of the sweet and the savoury in one is something that is very popular throughout the Middle East. Now this is a little star shape, and I'm hoping this is going to work. Fingers crossed, everybody. Dust it with cinnamon. That is it. Okay, here we go. Lift it up. That'll do, and here we go. That's it. One pheasant pastilla. Next, I'm going to be making a couscous royal. That's kind of couscous with absolutely everything in it. Vegetables and lovely merguez sausages. Then finally, we're going to be making oranges with pistachio and honey and cinnamon.